So, Night of the Living Cat is actually turning out to be one of the most impressive works, that I've seen so far. I mean, there's a lot of good anime out there, but this one's really shaping up to be just way better than I would ever expect. I wasn't really taking this anime serious. It's like a zombie movie. Like, I don't know. It just really made me feel like I'm watching I Am Legend. If you guys have seen that movie with Will Smith that came out back in 2007, it was just really fun, adventurous. This survival type anime, and like I said, I wasn't really taking it serious, and the characters they just seemed, I don't know, overly enthusiastic for cats. They just seem really enthusiastic, and just the jokes and stuff. They were there. They were there, and they worked. But this episode over here, episode 4, just made me make a 180 turn and actually take it a bit more serious. You know what I'm saying? It's at first I was just watching it for the shit and giggles, I wasn't really taking it serious. I thought, whatever, man, it's just another anime where I can just enjoy my time. It's a virus. The virus spreads across the world, transforming all humankind into wild, slavering furry beasts. Cats to be precise. So see, when you read the description, you don't really want to take it serious. Those survivors who remain human take refuge in the dark corners of the earth. Dark corners of the earth as they fight back against the feline horde. Kunegi, a man with a memory of his past, yet a deep knowledge of cats, struggles to hold on to only his wits and a will to survive. Yet the virus transmits merely through cuddles, and Kunigi finds Kitty so hard to resist. His willpower is strong enough to withstand this hair-raising catastrophe. Catastrophe. So as you guys can see there, the premise itself just seems like whatever, just like, oh, it's just an anime I'm just gonna watch and enjoy. But the survival, like there's a lot of good survival stuff out there. I personally don't really like them, but this one's really, shaping up to be, one of those animes with a shitload of potential. And I'm really starting to get invested in the characters as well. Like you guys heard there, we got Kunigi, Tanishi turned into a cat though. R.I.P. Gaku turned into a cat. Tatsumi, it looks like I don't know. I don't know what happened to her. She supposedly got rescued, but the camp, yeah, in this episode I believe was just tarnished. Then Karu here, and we just met Arata. We haven't met the other characters yet, but the characters are shaping up to be really well done. Even though like the Karu girl, she just seems like she's always wearing like a school outfit, you know, and it's like low hanging fruit, but still very good characters. And just when they went outside the city, that's what really hit for me. You see this, you see the desert lands, everything's deserted. It's just a good sign that the world is just reverting back to its original form. Going back into either a forest or desert form. Now that humans are not really taking care of the planet and the cats are taking over, pretty much just fucking it up all over again. It's not like they can run the electricity and the infrastructure that the city needs. So yeah, guys, if you guys haven't seen this anime yet, it's just turning out to be really cinematic. Like the amount of work that they put into this, it just feels so smooth, and it just feels really entertaining. I really am excited to see what the other how the other characters are gonna play into the story, and exactly how are they gonna survive. How are they gonna find a cure? How are they gonna fight against the horde of cats? How are they not gonna turn? And if they do turn, it's like, bro, are they still not conscious, or do they pretty much lose all their brain cells and they act like a cat? It's like very interesting. These survival series, sometimes really just plague us with too many questions that can be answered.